Hey guys, welcome back to Tennessee Urban Garden. It's been a while. I'm heading down to my greenhouse right now because I went down there the other day and I saw some spider mites on my lemon, two of my lemons, and I have a lime in there also and an orange. So I'm going to see how bad it is, and then later on I'm going to come down in the afternoon and probably spray it with the neem oil that I have. But I'm going to show you guys what the spider mites look like. Now my greenhouse is packed. There's my bay leaf. And I have an avocado, and I'm starting some sweet potato slips. And here is my lime. And here's my lemon. Now I do have fruit on it. It's still wanting to flower out. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but right here on this leaf there are little red tiny dots. It's really hard to see, but if I wipe my finger like this, there's red little residue. It's really hard to see on the camera. There's little red dots all over the plant, and it's underneath, it's on top. Now those are spider mites. You can see, sometimes you can see their little webs in here if it gets really bad. And this is what happens. It starts to suck the nutrients from your plant. See the discoloration? It's not supposed to look like this. Now I usually have a problem about this time every year where it's been in the greenhouse for so long and it's not had a ton of fresh air, but I'm not able to wipe it down. I don't know if you guys can see those little red dots all over the place. What I usually do is I will take my whole plant out and I will bring it out and I will spray it down really hard with my garden hose, and I will try to wipe down a lot of the leaves. I know that seems like a lot of work because there's lots of leaves, but I wipe them down and then I will treat it. But we've not been having the greatest weather. I mean, today's not supposed to be bad. It's probably like 56, but I am going to just, you can even see them right there on my fruit. Yeah, it's like a red, yucky tint, and that's the spider mites. I don't know if you can see that on my hand, but they will destroy your tree. So you want to be diligent. I wasn't really diligent looking at it, but we've had pretty cold weather, so I haven't been down here, but I'm going to get my neem oil later because you don't want to do it during the day. Now look at that. I don't know if you can see that. It's really hard to see. But there is scale too, so now I know I have scale. Scale will also destroy your plant. Now I just took that off. So that means I have scale in other places too. So I'm going to have to search my tree and look for scale, and of course I know I have spider mites, so I'm going to have to treat those also. Now I didn't find any scale, but I'm finding a lot of webs from the spider mites. If you can see this right here. See the web inside? It's bad. So I have an infestation, but I'm not too worried about it because I have to treat for this every year around this time. But I'm going to do multiple applications. You can see how it's just sucking the life out of my poor tree. It's starting, and I don't want it to go too far. I've had it go really far before to where I had to literally cut my tree down to near to nothing and only had a few leaves left, and I don't want to do that again. So you just need to be diligent. I mean, you can see all of the blooms I have on here. It's just, for some reason, my lemon just wants to bloom like crazy during the winter, which is okay. I have a heater in here to help it stay warm, but, and you can see this is damage from the spider mites too, when you start seeing little holes and other stuff. So I am going to treat this lemon tree, and then I have a little one down there that I just knocked over. Let me see if I can write. Okay, so this has spider mites on it too. It looks like it's taking a beating. This is one of the cuttings I had off the big one right here, and now you can see the discoloration. This is not good. So if yours is doing that, that means something's wrong with it. And I'm not overwatering it because I only water this maybe once, let's say once every 2 weeks in here. It doesn't get really dried out because it's winter, and once I water it really good, it stays moist for a while. This one you can see is flowering too. It's struggling. We got some flowers over there, but it does have spider mites on it. Got some yucky red stuff on my hand. But I'm going to spray this one too, and my big plant. Now I do have, let's see, this is my lime. And let's see, you can see, oh yeah, this got mites too. So I just have an explosion of mites. You see all my little limes, my baby limes, but it's suffering, you can tell. The discoloration of the leaves, that's a sure sign something's wrong. When it's dropping them like crazy, I'm barely touching it and it's dropping it. That's not good. So what I'm gonna do, hopefully my orange doesn't have any, but I mean, you can still see it has limes on it still, but it needs to be taken care of. I'm going to water them too. It's time for watering. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down later and I'm going to spray in the afternoon. When you use neem oil, you only want to do it in the early morning when you're not having a scorching day, or late afternoon, because otherwise you will burn your leaves. Trust me, I've done it multiple times, not paying attention when I was doing the application, and I burned my leaves and messed up my trees. So you only want to do it early morning where you're not having a real hot day of a ton of sun, or you can leave it in the shade, or do it in the afternoon. So I'm going to spray this one, that little lemon, so my lime and lemon, and this lemon also. And I'll probably beforehand, just to give it a little extra help, come out here with a bowl of hot water, and I will just start wiping all the leaves. And I know that's a lot of work, but I want to save my trees. I don't want them to die, because I just pulled some lemons off the other day and used them. I mean, it's great during the winter, and I have some more that are going to be ready soon, but we don't want to let it die. You can see all the different sizes. I have all kinds on here. Alright guys, it's late afternoon. The sun's about to go down soon, so it's okay to apply my neem oil. Now you can get this at any big box store like Home Depot and Lowe's, or even the smaller nurseries. So this you have to shake up really good, because this is ready to use. It's not concentrate, and you just make sure it is on spray and not stream. And what you're going to do is you're going to soak your plant. And I mean soak it. You're going to get underneath the leaves, on top of the leaves, everywhere. So I'm going to start on my lime tree. I usually start at the top. You're going to try to get all in those leaves. I'm doing this a little bit early so I can let this air out of the greenhouse for about an hour before I close the door for the night. So just keep going, and you make sure you get the top of the leaves and the bottom of the leaves too, because you got to get the underside, or you're not going to kill all the spider mites. Just keep going. Alright, you can see where I sprayed the leaves, and it's almost to, I mean, if it runs off, it's not a big deal, but I spray it to where it's really glossy and wet. Make sure you get everything. The undersides also. You want to kill all of those mites, those spider mites. They just want to destroy your fruit. Now sometimes I'll spray right along, a little bit in the dirt too. It's not going to hurt the plant. I spray along the trunk and a little bit in the dirt just to kill them, because I want them gone. I already sprayed this one. This spot. So remember to do this in the afternoon when the sun's about to go down. Don't do it during the day. You'll learn the hard way if you do. But you just spray it like this. Now I used about half the bottle on these two because I was just doing a light spraying. I'm going to come back in 7 days and do another one to see for the second one, because this kills the eggs, larvae, and then the adult stages. So you need to do at least 2 rounds, sometimes 3. I have another bottle. So we're going to let this sit for about an hour, and then I'll close up the greenhouse, and then I'll come back in 7 days and do another application. Alright, it's been more than a month. I had to do a couple rounds. I think it was 3 or 4 rounds of neem oil, and you have to let it sit for a week before you spray it again. But my lemon tree flowered, and I've got a ton of little lemons on here. I have some that are already growing pretty big. Then I have some more. The tree's doing all right. It's starting to get little spots. I'm gonna have to see what's wrong with it now, but as long as the mites are gone, I'm good. Now, these are dirty because they've been in here and they're desperate to get out for summer, and they're touching the top. But the second I take them out, we're gonna have a freeze, and then it's gonna die, and then I'll be sad. But even my bay leaf is opening up its new leaves. It's doing great. And also my, let's see if I can get back here, orange has blooms on it. So it's starting to do really well. A couple things in here, like my olive tree is struggling. It just needs to come out. But it's pretty big. It got bigger in here over the winter. I need to pull these out of here. And eventually I will. But this is how it's doing. It's got new growth right here. It's how it's doing after I sprayed it for the mites that were taking over this greenhouse. And like I said in a previous video, I just could not put my plants down here. There's no room whatsoever for my plants in here because these are just desperate to get out. I mean, that avocado is just pushing the panels. It's ready to come out for summer. Alright guys, that's it. But remember, if you use the neem oil to treat mites on your plants, in my case it was my lemon, my lime, and my orange. If you use it for that, remember, spray it really early in the morning so it can dry, or later at night. Don't spray it in the heat of the day. You'll burn your poor plants. It's not worth it. And you have to wait in between rounds. So if you have to do 2 to 3 rounds, even 4 rounds of spraying it to treat the mites, to kill off all of the eggs and stuff, you have to wait at least a week in between. So keep gardening, get rid of those mites like I did, and just keep checking your plants, because that's how you have success when you have citrus, especially in different parts of the country. I'm in Tennessee. It's not known for citruses, but I keep my citruses and I have them during the winter. So bye guys, see you next time.